Good morning, everybody. This is the first episode of Morning Cup of Real Tea. Today, I'm going to be talking about homestead exemption, how to file for it, talking a little bit about what it does or what it is. But this is the first episode, so welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we're going to get started. All right. Um, so again, good morning. This morning I'm drinking it's like green tea. It's like what is it? Strawberry Meadows is what it's called. It's actually really, really good, but it's a green tea. Um, well, these videos are meant to be quick and short, and I want to go through, or I'm going to try to go through as quick as I can about what homestead exemption is. So, if you're unfamiliar, homestead exemption just means that you get a discount on your property taxes. So, the state of Florida, and it's set up in every county. The state of Florida allows you to go and apply for what's called a homestead exemption, and you can get up to $25,000, and then you get an additional $25,000 off your assessed value or your taxable value. And then that reduces your property tax rate. There are ways to get a little bit more of a discount, and we'll cover a few of those ways here in just a little bit. But let me share my screen with you. Let me get that up here. So, homestead, filing for homestead. So, most counties, you can do it online. I haven't seen a county yet, at least in Central Florida, that you cannot do it online. So pretty much everywhere you can do it online. The one I'm showing you right now is for Volusia County. So, so homestead. So basically, here's what it says: every Florida resident who has a legal or beneficial title in equity to a real property in the state of Florida, who resides on said real property, and in good faith makes the same, um, his or her permanent residence on or before January 1st. So you have to be living in the property or the house by January on or before January 1st of the application, or of the year the application is made. You shall be entitled to the $25,000 homestead exemption. And then just below that, it says there's an additional homestead exemption up to $25,000. And what that means, and it's based on your assessed value. And here's a little chart, if you want to come back and watch this or go to the website itself. I just did a Google search, and you can type in Volusia County Homestead Exemption, and then that'll get you to this webpage. But you can come back and you can look at it. So basically, your assessed value is, if it's $50,000 or less, you're not going to get any additional exemption. If it's 52,979, here's an example. So 52,979 minus 50,000 equals, you get an additional 2979. And then all the way up to 70, if your assessed value is $75,000 or greater, you're going to get that full additional $25,000 in homestead exemption. So you're actually getting a full $50,000. Now, if you're not sure if you already have applied for it, if you don't remember applying for it, then chances are you haven't. You have until March 1st of this year. So March 1st of this year is the deadline to file for homestead exemption. Now remember, I said you have to have been living in your house since January 1st, and you may have to show proof of that, but you have to have lived in the house since January 1st, but the deadline for this tax year is March 1st. So, and that is a hard deadline. There are no, oops, I forgot, none of that. So you have to have it in there by March 1st. But if you're unsure, or maybe you don't remember if you have it, this is the property appraiser's website. This is for Volusia County. And again, your county, if you're in a different county, is going to have something similar. So if you can just go to Google and type in, Seminole County property appraiser, and you can search for your particular property. This is a random one that I pulled up, and I just wanted to show you this. So this is what Volusia County looks like, and it's got all the property information here. And so then the way you're going to see if you have the exemption already. So here's your just market value. And it's right here, for this one, it's typically the same. Just market value is talking about, the actual market value of the house. But a lot of times for county purposes, for tax purposes, it's usually sometimes the same. Assessed value is what you really want to look at because that's what the government is valuing your house. That's what they're basing your taxes off of. And then here's your exemptions. So for certain categories, you're going to have a $25,000 exemption. And then for most all the other categories, it's going to be a $50,000 exemption. So 274 minus 50,000 gives you 224 on the taxable value. Okay. So $224,000, that's what this person is being taxed on. And for Volusia County, it ranges, it's right about 1.8% to 1.8 to 2%, but typically it's about 1.8. So if you did 1.8% of this number here, you're going to get their estimated taxes, which is $4,200. You can also see this on your tax bill. This is the tax bill for that same address. Exemptions, and you can see it's all $50,000 under here. So, and then their tax bill was $4,091. All right. So filing for homestead, this is going to be, I mean, it's super, super easy. But filing for homestead, there's a few things that you're going to need, and I have them highlighted right down here. So you are going to need a copy of your Florida driver's license showing your residential address. It has to be the address that you're filing homestead for because they are going to check that you are living there and that you're registered to live. Your driver's license says you live there and everything. The second thing, Florida vehicle registration or Florida voters registration card, either one, because notice the or there. So either one of those is fine. I do know on the application it does ask you for your voter registration card. If you don't have one or you don't remember it or something like that, that's fine. You just got to have one or the other. And then you have to have your social security number for each new applicant. And here's the thing: if your spouse does live with you, if they live on the property but they're not on the mortgage or the deed or anything like that, they still you still have to put their information in. Excuse me. All right. So and then there's two ways that you can go about putting or adding in your application. The first one, you can click here and you can download. I've got it up right. Where'd it go? There it is. Got it up right here. So if you click on this link, well, there we go. Let's just move this down. So if you click on this link right here, it pulls up this application. All right. This application, it's something that you could fill it out on your computer, print it out, and then you have to take it into the actual office, the county office, and submit it there. If you don't want to print this out, that's fine. You can do it online as well. But let me show you real quick on this application because it does show you a few things. If you have certain situations where you can get additional credits to your taxes. So like if you're over 65 with a limited income, so certain incomes, $500 if you've been widowed or if you're blind or permanently disabled. So there's a whole list of things going into veterans. If you're the wife or husband of a veteran who died over in the course of their actions or their service, then you also will have some additional exemptions. So something to look at in a little bit more detail if any of those situations apply to you. Yeah, here's a chart that sort of shows everything. I'll just leave that up on the screen there for a minute. Let me see if I can zoom in. There you go. So if you want to pause the video, you can do that and just sort of look through all the additional exemptions that you get, or see if you apply or fall into those any of those categories. All right. So we're not going to do the paper application, but we're going to do file your homestead online. All right, and I'm just going to walk you through this real quickly. So you get to this page. Here's again, must have a social security number. You got to be for each non. If you're a non-citizen, you have to have your permanent resident green or your green card. And then in addition, you have to have one of these items, or you may also need to furnish the following. So some of these items, which is fine. Check these boxes. You click on File for Homestead. I've already got it. We'll go here. So the first thing, if you've never done this before, you're going to have to create an account. And all you do is you go to New User, you create a username and a password, and then it's going to show you this right here. It's going to send you an email. You go click on your email or find the email that it sends you. There's a link in there. And when you click it, it's going to say activate account. Your account has been activated. And then click here to log in. All right. So I've already created my account, but I wanted to show you those two steps. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Homestead Exemption. So, and here's some notes on here about how to begin filing, and making sure that you have everything that you need before you get started. And if you get through this and you figure out, hey, I forgot to, I don't have something, I missed it, that's fine. You can save your application. You can come back to it later. Okay. So alternate key number. So your alternate key number, and there's different ways you can look this stuff up. So in here, and I made this mistake the first time. I filled all this stuff out, but it says search for your parcel. Use only one of the search options below. So alternate key number, owner's name. So you could just type in your name. Tell you what, I'm going to use the alternate key number from this property we looked at just a few minutes ago. We're going to search. There it is. So then here we're going to start filing. And you can see that it pre-populates. It already knows the property now because we put in that identifying alternate key number so it can identify the property. And from here, it's just going through and making sure all the information is filled out appropriately. So I don't know if I can fill in all of this stuff here without it giving me some red marks, but basically all your social security number, marital status, driver's license number, all of that stuff. And then you have a few questions that you have to answer. Did you own, claim, or receive any tax benefits from any other state or country? Is any portion of the new property leased or rented? Did you own property contiguous to this parcel? And typically that's going to be a no, unless you did own the next door, the property next door or behind you or in front of you, or if it's adjacent to you. And then list each name and address of each owner not residing on the property. So if you have somebody who maybe helped you buy the house and their name is on the deed, but they don't live there, you do have to list their name as well. And then you would type in your signature, which would just be typing in your name. All right, let's see if I can move. Nope, it's going to be, I'll fix this later. Okay, there we go. So additional exemptions, this is where you would come in and put in those additional exemptions that I showed you right here on this one. So this is where you would come and check those boxes. And if you're not sure, it even gives you a link so you can go and see those additional categories again to see if they apply for you. All right. So we're going to say none of these apply for us. We're going to go to additional, verify your mailing address. I think Did we forget this one? I'll fix this later. Yeah, so one thing I forgot to mention on add applicants, add owners applying for homestead. Here, attention, if you are married, you are required to add your spouse as an applicant. If you are married, you are required to add your spouse as an applicant. So you have to add your spouse, whether their name is on the deed or not. So make sure you don't forget to do that. So you would just go in here, new applicant, and then you would type in their last name, comma, first name, and then it's going to give you all that same information that it wanted from you with your what's it called? Your social security number. Sorry, excuse me, I was blanking out there for a second. Your social security number and everything like that. All right, so additional information. We're getting some errors. Oh, probably because we left that one blank. There we go. So yeah, when you add your spouse, it's going to come through and you got to put in all this information for them as well. All right, additional information. Fix this later. We talked about verify your mailing address, taxpayer comments. So if you have any comments, this is where you would enter them. Please enter any comments related to your filing. Man, that tea is good. That's good stuff. All right, so then the last thing, I will fix this later. Attachments. So you're gonna have, if you have a cell phone or something, you're gonna have to take pictures of if you're using your voter registration card, if you're using your car or your automobile registration, you got to take a picture of that. Your driver's license, you have to take a picture of that. And here's some other examples. Attach any of the supporting documents related to your application. Now, some of these may not be related to you because maybe you're not a veteran, or some of those other additional discounts didn't apply to you. So you don't necessarily have to put those in there, or there's nothing that you need to put, but definitely Florida vehicle registration. Let's see, that's really the only one, but I would add a copy of your voter registration if you have it, and your driver's license. And you just select files, you go in here and you select where those images are, and then it'll upload them. And then you go to the submit page, you read the legal notice just saying you can't lie on these things, you have to be truthful, and then you would hit submit. Now that is, man, it is bright over there, isn't it? Let's see if I can close this. There we go, that's a little better, hopefully. So that is all it takes to get your homestead exemption done. And like I said, most counties are going to be pretty similar. If you can't find the link to Volusia County or your local county, send me an email or shoot me a message, a text message, or just give me a call. I will send you the link for it. That way you can get on there. But again, the deadline, you have to get this done by March 1st. And here's one other thing. This is for people that have never filed a homestead exemption before. You do have what's called a homestead portability. And basically what that is, I think I have something up here that talks about the portability. Let me find it. So here, let me put this back up on the screen. Portability, just really quick. And trying to get that up there. So portability. So it's basically it's called Save Our Homes. Save Our Homes, SOH, is an amendment to the Florida Constitution that allows homestead property owners to port or transfer the accumulated difference between the assessed value. Remember, we talked about the assessed value here. The difference between the assessed value and the just market value. The just market value. Now here, they're the same. So there wouldn't be any savings there. But it's the difference of those two, and you can take that and port it to your new home. So the purpose of moving this SOH differential or the benefit from one property to another is referred to as portability. Portability must be applied for, and applications must be submitted by March 1st of the year being applied. So in other words, you have to submit the portability application. It's a different application. The Volusia County website actually has a little pamphlet on it, and it's called the DR501T. And if you want this pamphlet, you can search for it or just email me. I have it right here, and I can just email it to you. That would be the easiest way. But so there is a way. So if you do already have homestead and you're buying an addition, another home, now it has to be your primary home. So you're either renting out your old home and your new home is your primary residence, but it has to be your primary residence. Okay. So, but there is a way for you to port. So don't fill out a new application. Do the portability application. I think that one you have to actually fill it out and then take it into the office, and then they'll do the math for you as far as how much is going to be able to be ported. Because if the just value is higher than the assessed value, then that's good, you can take that difference. But if it's the other way around, then there's like a percentage that they figure out, and it's nothing that that gets too complicated. But either way, they'll do the math for you, and they'll explain, hey, this is how much you can port. And then that will become your new taxable value, and then that is the value that has the cap, and that they can only raise a certain amount every year. So um, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I appreciate you watching this video. This was the first one. Let me know how I did in the comments, if you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you think it should be a little bit faster. I'm always open for improving what I do. But if you did like it, one way I can know if you don't want to leave a comment, hit the thumbs up button, go to the channel. If you're watching on YouTube, go there, uh, hit the subscribe button. And then I'm going to be doing about 2 of these shows every month. So hit the alert bell on YouTube, so then that way you get notifications when I post a new video. And then if you're watching on Facebook, I appreciate it. Leave me a comment, hit the thumbs up button, hit the like button on this video to let me know that you liked it. If you didn't, leave me a comment in the comments down below and let me know how I can improve it. But either way, cheers, everybody. I appreciate you watching the first one of Morning Cup of Real Tea. Sorry. Cheers.